Ready for another edition of Warpaint TV? Brought to you by Cotman Transmission, Olathe, Kansas. 913-768-1555.
Are you ready for some real football?
Welcome back to Warpaint TV, December 1st. Once again, I'm Shane Williams with Warpaint TV here with Chiefs insider Nick Athan. Nick, Chiefs are still in first place.
They are.
For the third time this year, how fitting, the Chiefs are 3 games over 500. They were 3-0, 5-2, now they're 7-4. What's it going to take to get over 3 games
this
this
is
Sunday?
their best chance to be 4 games over, because I think the Denver Broncos come into Kansas City. They haven't played well the last couple of weeks. I mean, their best game was the spanking they put on the Chiefs 3 weeks ago, 49-29. But they got embarrassed at home last week against the Rams. Nice comeback, but fell short. And then the week before that, they went to San Diego and got pummeled. So I think this is a golden opportunity for the Chiefs to go to 8-4. I think that's going to set the pace, set the tone for what's going to be a great game 2 weeks from now in the Chiefs and the Chargers. But first things first, they have to beat Denver. The Chargers have to beat the Raiders at home. So this is a big weekend. I think this is going to kind of set what's going to happen to the final 4 games of the season.
Nick, 7 weeks ago, Dwayne Bowe was really having a rough stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you point blank, what's it going to take for this guy to reach his potential? I felt, personally that Chris Chambers probably should have stepped in front of him, but you stood in his corner. You knew he could reach his potential. What is it about Dwayne Bowe that you felt confident in him?
He's just grown up, and he's a mature young man now versus the kid that he was before. When we did the radio show together, it was all about the show, and as he said when he finally spoke to the media a couple weeks ago, and we had that on our Out of Bounds podcast, I just want to be Dwayne, and he's just being Dwayne. And, he still has a ways to go. I mean, I don't think he's satisfied with what's happened so far. That they're going to need him to keep this up, because he's really the only target out there outside of Tony Milwaukee in the passing game. But the good news about all this is that he is emerging. He's emerging at the right time. There's a correlation between Matt Castle being a better quarterback now that Dwayne Bowe's catching the passes and scoring touchdowns. I mean, this team is the 6th rated offense in the National Football League. I mean, we haven't had that around here since Trent Green was patrolling the quarterback position. Matt Castle and Dwayne Bowe understand each other, but Dwayne has just elevated his game. He's gotten to that point where he said, you know what? I've got to do my part. He practices hard. He's committed. He comes in the off days. He studies film. He plays catch with Castle. He does all the things you have to do to get ready to be great on Sunday. Not be good, but to be great. And I think he's going to come close to Randy Moss's record. I really do. I think he's in that kind of zone that this is going to be an opportunity for him to become an elite receiver.
Check out this month's issue of Warpaint Illustrated, the magazine, with Dwayne Bowe on the cover. There's a lot of mystery about Dexter McCluster. He practiced with the team last week. He took the field before the game, and he was scratched. Will we see him this Sunday at Denver, or do you think they're going to save him for the final quarter starting next Sunday in San Diego?
Here's my theory. I think Charlie Weiss and Todd Haley realize that they need Dexter McCluster, but they have to get some other guys to step up. We've seen Varen Tucker kind of become the other receiver. Chris Chambers, has played some the last few weeks, but he's no longer a starter. It's allowed Tony Milwaukee to develop when he's been in there healthy. It's allowed them to establish the rushing game, put Charles in the slot, put Thomas Jones in the backfield. It's allowed them to do some different things. And I think everything that Charlie Weiss and Todd Haley do is to set up something for down the road. There is nothing more important than beating Denver and beating San Diego. Should that happen, the Chiefs win the AFC West. It's just that simple. So I think they're going to have all their guns and all their bullets ready, and I think they probably could have played him last weekend. I think they decided to hold him out knowing that they could probably beat Seattle without Dexter McCluster. But I think what's going to happen is Dexter will come back. He'll probably be the return guy, put Javier Arenas on defense if Brandon Flowers doesn't go this weekend, and they need him this weekend. But if he can't go, they're going to put Arenas on the outside. He was stellar last week at Seattle. So they'll put McCluster back there, get him some rhythm in the offense. But teams aren't going to know what the Chiefs are going to do with Dexter McCluster, because they've seen footage, but it was the first 4 or 5 games. And this offense has changed so much more of the playbook's involved now. When Dexter McCluster's on the field on Sunday and a week from Sunday in San Diego, teams are going to have to account for where he is. So I think it kind of serves an advantage to the Chiefs that he hasn't played.
We'll be right back after a brief message from our good friends at Cotman Transmission.
My experience at Cotman was phenomenal.
They worked on my car while I waited. I was in and out in less maybe like 30 minutes.
When you're dealing with your car, you drive it every day. You need someone that you can trust to work on it.
It's a good experience.
I'm a Cotman customer for life.
I trust Cotman.
He's my Cotman man, and he keeps me rolling along.
All right, Josh McDaniels is taking a lot of heat, with the Spygate going on.
Right.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, I think it's interesting. When the whole finger wagging with Todd Haley and McDaniels, everybody kind of assumed. But what was missing in all that was something that Haley said, and he said, "Listen, I've heard things about you." Well, now we know what those things are, because the Spygate issue came out privately in the NFL circles right after it happened in London. And you look at what's happened, you look at the heat that they're under all of a sudden. I think Haley knew kind of what was going on, and he pointed his finger at him. But I also think Haley did it to put all the onus on him. And we talked about this after that game, that, hey, let's put the blame of this loss on Todd Haley. But regardless, this is going to be a great game. It's going to be fun to watch. These two coaches are going to be going after it. Josh McDaniels is trying to save his job. Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Denver Broncos, is out there. He gave him a quasi, a little bit of support. A couple hours later, they clarified it, so they're going to reevaluate. I've heard Brian Billick could be the number one guy, the number one choice for the Denver Broncos. If John Gruden doesn't go to University of Miami, and we don't know, I know they're meeting today on Wednesday, he could be a possibility there. I don't think Pat Bowlen's going to make any mistakes. So Josh McDaniels has a decision to make. Do I go all out, or do I try and develop this team? He's going to be in a tough predicament over the next 5 games, because he's going to have to take some risks to win games versus trying to develop the Broncos into a team that can play better in 2011. So it's going to be interesting to see what he brings to Kansas City on Sunday.
Chiefs today released linebacker Justin Cole and signed cornerback Mike Richardson. Mike Richardson was with the Chiefs last year as a dime back. He only dressed 3 or 4 games last year, but now he's back. Is that still a concern with Brandon Flowers? Well,
he knows the system. He was a former New England Patriot. Todd Haley. Scott Pioli brought in a lot of New England guys. He was one of them. I think this tells me that Brandon Flowers probably won't play, like we said in the first segment. So this just gives them insurance. Ricky Price, made his professional start last week. He got injured. So they're kind of thin there. Travis Daniels came in, played the nickel when Arenas went outside. Listen, the Broncos can pass the ball. Brandon Lloyd, Kansas City product, is leading the league in receptions. Dwayne Bowe's leading in touchdowns. You got 2 of the best wide receivers in the AFC going to be going at it. You need your bullets in your gun, and the Chiefs probably going to be pretty light in the secondary, which means Tom Bahali's got to step up and be a man this week. He's always played well against Denver in Kansas City. He has to have the game of his career on Sunday.
Early prediction. I know we still got 6 games left. Is Matt Castle going to go to the Pro Bowl?
I think he will. I think Peyton Manning probably won't go. He'll get voted in, but I think that injury thing. Tom Brady doesn't like to play in those games. He'll probably be injured as well. But I think he could ultimately be a reserve quarterback. I think he deserves it. He next to Tom Brady, no one's has a better quarterback. Touchdown interception ratio. To me, Matt Castle is the guy that deserves All-Pro status. If he can carry this team the next 5 weeks, if he wins the next 2 games, and I'm going to say it right now, I'm going to put it on the spot, I'm going to put it on the web, I think the Chiefs are going to win these next 2 games. Matt Castle is going to be a hero in this town.
You heard it here first from Chiefs Insider Nick Athan. Once again, I'm Shane Williams with Warpaint TV. For Justin Olson, Clayton Windler, and the entire staff at Warpaint Illustrated, happy holidays.
Don't miss another edition of Warpaint Illustrated, the magazine. To get your subscription today, call 888-979-0979. That's 888-979-0979, or check out warpaintillustrated.com.